usually a healthy one between the committee. Whether government are justified or not for delaying it, what message do you think is sending by them delaying this for so long, even though they may feel like they have every right to based on the circumstances?
I think I'm not in support of the delay.
Okay.
I support the Secretary General of the TUC in talking worried about the delay. I support that. Government shouldn't delay. They should go to the table as a negotiator, not as government, and negotiate and tell the workers that unfortunately these are the numbers, so and so and so and so and so. If they don't agree, have a disagreement and go to National Labour Commission and let the Labour Commission, who is supposed to be an impartial arbiter, go into the matter and come out with an award. That is it. That will be the end of it. But delaying it is just worsening the situation. I agree with the Secretary General of the TUC that the delay is overbearing. They should go and to the table negotiate. If you are unable to come to terms, have a deadlock, forward the matter to the National Labour Commission. They will take a 1 day, 2 day sitting. They'll be able to resolve it, and there will be an interim, directive by the Labour Commission. Please go and celebrate your decision because the matter is with us. No one should go doing ABC.
Okay.
That is how it's supposed to be. But if you create a situation where you are either dodging or not going to the table or backpedaling and so forth and so on, that is not fair. I'm not against both sides. I'm a mediator, and therefore I do not support this kind of taking position. I can't say you can't stand in tongues to be removing tongues. You don't succeed. So everybody get out from the tongues, get seated by the table, have a conversation, not argument and debate, frivolous things. It will not help anybody. If you cannot reach agreement, go to the National Labour Commission and have the matter resolved. By standing in tongues, you remove it and put your leg into it again, you will never get anything done.
Okay. One side, the TUC saying that government are being insensitive, the cost of living is high, fuel is high, everything is high. I mean, the whole economy, we're all going through, we know. On the other side, government is saying, they're being insensitive because, the plight of the economy is not the best at the moment, so forth.
There will have to be a balancing act, my sister. One, government told us through Parliament that they have estimated to have inflation stabilized to 9% by end of year. Today, we are about a quarter away, and we are 14.5%. So we have a shortfall, plus and minus about 6%, 5 point something, but let's say 6%. So there should be a restoration of the value of our income by 6%. That is not a negotiation. It's straightforward restoration. Now, so plus and minus, because of maybe adjustment of things here and there, let us say just speculating around between 9-10% or so, that is the end of it. Then when it comes to a question of base pay negotiation, it's a different total ball game altogether. We can't mix the two things together. Determining national daily minimum wage is about restoration. Then when it comes to negotiating condition of service, is based on productivity. Of course, we don't have the instruments to even measure these things properly. But at least gauging things here and there, we should know what to do. And the fact that we have certain numbers that is of worry to all of us, then we should know what to do, because the TUC knows better. They have economists in their midst. They have great people in their midst. They know that the numbers are such that if you adjust it beyond a certain level, it will be a killer. And they will get the money. You can't buy a tin of milk in the market.
Because?
Yes, of course. So I think that people are not unaware. They do know it. If the posture of both sides should be to be gentle enough to sit around a table, having the national interests and our kids in mind, then we will know how to do, because we have schools to fix. I'm not talking for government, I'm talking for the nation. We have schools to fix. People are asking for roads. People are more important, our health, and so forth and so on. And so therefore, we should not deliberately do anything to make life unbearable for ourselves. And I think I have confidence in both sides. They should be able to go and sit down and do it.
Okay. Also, in light of, when we hear of scandals, huge millions and billions of money being mismanaged, by one, successive governments or other, how then, especially in this time, do you feel like Labour can trust government when we know that? So you often hear of so many money just being removed.
Judgment debts, as announced again today in some of the papers and so on and so on, they will never cease to be in place, whether in Ghana, in Japan, or Azerbaijan. It will always be. But the point is that, as I told you before, the reality is that from day one, before you enter into any agreement, make sure you have the experts who know how to enter into such agreement. This is not a type of collective agreement or a type of just ordinary agreement. When it comes to an arbitrable type of agreements, you must have the experts to guide you as to how the composition of this agreement should be. Otherwise, you'll be running into this kind of circles. And you must have people who have the knowledge to lead in this kind of arbitration and this kind of mediation processes. Often we write and put there arbitration and use either the UNCITRAL, the ICC, and other rules. You will end up going to the Hague, you will end up going to London or going to the Swiss. We have an ADR Act in Ghana now, which must be activated. We must set up the National ADR Center so that our law, having been triggered, the international community, fortunately, is internationalized. The international community is aware. So, writing our agreements, we'll use our Ghanaian law, we'll train our people in arbitration and mediation to facilitate this process and stop going to the Hague, because it's so vexatious to realize that we have very notable people in this country who have the capability, just like the people in the Hague. They don't know better than us. What is all this about? And it's only when it is being done that they send people outside send emails to be asking some of us, are you also in the country? Are you aware that this is happening? What can I do? What can we do? So I'm just trying to say that the genesis of the problem is about wrong agreement being signed. Of course, as for the corruption and so forth and so on, we should not put it at the doorstep of the entity, the thing they call government.
Okay.
Are you in government directly? You are not in government directly. But if you create problem for the nation, how do you go and put it at the doormouth of John Mahama? I don't think that is fair. So it's a question of everybody being now an honest person in the country, doing what is expected of him. If you are a civil servant and you go and take stationery, you go and sell it, it's corruption. If you go and do something that is not appropriate, it's wrong. So everybody, including our misuse of language, creating problem, the kind of conflicts that we have in the country, they cause us. When the Dagbon crisis started from the beginning, I believe government used to spend close to over $70,000 at that time. Now we are not even using dollars again. 140,000 Ghana cedis a day in managing conflict. It's so huge. It could create roads for somebody, it could build schools for somebody. So we should stop disturbing our own peace in the country, engaging and killing people, getting people, land guards to go and create problem for everybody, and getting the police to be running around, and then we turn around to blame them. This kind of thing should stop. And so, talking about this, back to this May Day issue, I think that it is important that all of us recognize that we have a country together. We must ensure that we protect the interests of our children who are innocent and ignorant, and help them to grow and take over from you and I.
Okay. One of the last questions I want to ask you is: does the government have a right to freeze the daily minimum wage due to the financial situation we're in? Do they have a right to do so? The legalities of it?
To the extent that they have a right to raise it at the appropriate forum. And the appropriate forum is to call a national tripartite committee meeting made up of the three social partners and put on the table openly the specific things that are of concern to government. That look, because of ABCD, we are proposing that we could freeze wages this point in time. The three social partners
can only propose.
Yes, you cannot force anybody. No. If you force it, you have the backlash.
Okay.
Don't force it. Just talk about it. Say it gently and make your case firmly known to the people that are concerned, and they will also consult their constituents, and I think they'll be able to reach some agreement. I think both sides have genuine concern. Employers have genuine concern as well. I'm an employer too. I have workers I pay, and therefore I have genuine concern as well. The organized labor have constituents. They also have genuine concerns. Government is managing their purse. They have genuine concerns. They should go and sit down and talk gently and be honest, and have the thing open, specifically address the concerns that are of worry to them. If you are thinking about something, you don't talk, it will bring explosion. So talk about it
and hopefully get to a good
That's
resolution.
about it.
Okay, lastly for me, in your opinion, what's gonna come May 1st? Do you think this thing will be resolved amicably before, or are we gonna have a cancellation of May Day celebrations?
No, May Day celebration should be on.
Okay.
I pray my colleague at the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations should, together with the social partners, go to the meeting. If they will go today, they should go to the meeting today. If they cannot reach agreement, they should call it deadlock and submit the matter to the National Labour Commission.
Okay.
And the Labour Commission should, within some hours, call a meeting and tell them how they will go about the matter. And if they can resolve it within 24 hours, fine. If they cannot, they should give an interim directive, because they have the power as High Court to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we are creating trouble for ourselves when we have a law and an atmosphere that could, enable us to resolve these issues, easily.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
I'm most grateful.
I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Austin Game, who is a Labour and Appropriate Dispute Resolution Expert and Consultant. Thank you. All right, there you have it. I want to give a shout out to Peak Milk for this segment. Of course, it is our business segment. Drink Peak Milk every day. We have more coming up right here on New Day. Make sure you don't go anywhere.